Okay, let's just start streaming straight away and then work everything else out afterwards.
Okay.
Hello, I am back. Does anyone remember the last time I was playing Elden Ring and there was a crash? It was insectoids, right? Insectoids happened last time though, right? I need to disable insectoids. Something's up with it. Something about that trigger kills the stream.
It's just too squishy.
I mean, I don't think any of us are truly married to it, so it's not the end of the world. It's not one of the most beloved. It is concerning. Okay, insectoids can no longer be triggered. Maybe it's an OBS bug. It's a bug somewhere, but definitely I can stop it happening if people can't trigger insectoids. Killian, you may need to start the beginning of your explanation from the top.
I'll go back to the beginning of the Amazon blurb. Pleiadians on Autism brings to light channeled information from the Pleiadian point of view that reveals new knowledge about autism. It provides unusual and remarkable information about who the autistics are and their significant roles on planet Earth. It also tells Alexandra's, who I think is the author, personal story and illustrates her relationship with the Pleiadians. This book is intended to support brave parents who dare to open up their hearts and minds to new concepts. Only your heart can tell you if this information is for you.
So, I mean, I was doing technical stuff, so I actually didn't listen to any of that. Sorry. I tried to pull a question out of my short-term memory and realised none of what you said went in. So it's about using knowledge of aliens called the Pleiadians to understand autistics, but autistics are not extraterrestrial in nature. There's just stuff we can learn about. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you really need to open your hearts and minds to new concepts if you want to understand this.
Yeah, I mean, I just read about Mr. Ah, so I'd say I'm pretty open-minded.
I've got to say, my favourite off-brand Dr. Pepper is still Dr. Bob.
I love that list.
It's really... I'm glad someone made that. But that was in like 2008, right? So surely there are new off-brand Dr. Peppers that they haven't covered.
Or do you think it was just a phase? Like
what, in the drinks world, or for the person running the blog?
There was just a gold rush on making fake Dr. Peppers, and for some reason that's not like a viable business model anymore.
I mean, I don't know if it's ever been a viable business model, but if you're a supermarket and you've got like your own brand drinks, you've got to have a Dr. Pepper, surely.
Oh, do you think so? Why do you think that's not the case over here? Why is Dr. Pepper like this one specific... Why are there not like Tesco's own Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, I've just been trying to think of any UK off-brand Dr. Peppers, but I don't think I've seen any.
Sometimes you don't even see Dr. Pepper. You don't even see like actual Dr. Pepper. That's how mad things have gotten over here in broken Britain.
Yeah, I like Dr. Pepper, but I will never know what flavour it's meant to be.
Cough medicine for children.
Really?
Well, doesn't it taste a bit like cough medicine?
I guess so, yeah, and it is called Dr. Pepper.
Exactly.
So that would make sense. That's as good a guess as I've got. Is it a root beer? I've heard of root beer, but it sounds strange and bad.
I'm not sure if I've had a root beer, but I've definitely had a cream soda. And as someone who...
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think I'm I think I'm really easygoing with flavours. There's not a lot I don't like. Cream soda, I can't get my head around.
No.
Do you want to see something weird in the game? I don't know if you can see
Yeah.
it actually.
I can.
I'm in a Discord server that's just me, Jack Evans, and Chris Cantrell, and our rules are we can't use any wikis. We're figuring out Elden Ring together, just using us three. And if you ever need to screenshot anything, you have to take your phone and take a picture of your screen and point at it with your real finger in shot, pointing at the part of the screen that's relevant. Those are the 2 rules of the server. And here we think this is a guy that's going to turn you into a furry, because he's some kind of beast priest.
Beast priest.
And I want to be a furry. But he needs a thing, and I don't have it yet.
You need your furry token.
There's a lot in the world is huge, so when it does the traditional RPG thing of like, this person needs a thing, it's like that thing could be literally anywhere.
Yeah.
Also, if you don't come in here via that very specific portal, the only way in is past this guy, and this guy is trouble.
That guy has bad vibes.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe he only attacks you if you attack him first.
Attack him, find out.
You think it's going to go well for me?
Only one way to find out.
I mean, I'll do my best. Black Blade Kindred. Didn't work out.
You've not immediately died?
I'm more or less immediately died.
Yeah, okay.
Dr. Pepper is a proprietary combination of 23 flavours. What does proprietary mean in this context?
Sorry, no. There aren't that many flavours in the world.
Killing, that's not true. Killing, that's false.
No, you've got fizzy, meat.
Meat is one flavour.
Yeah.
You sound like you've only ever had chicken.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Meat, fish, those are 2 separate flavours. Fizzy.
Fizzy's a texture. Fizzy's a liquid texture. And even chocolate has more than one flavours. Choco's not a single flavour.
Yeah, true. It's
got you.
Everyone's attacking me because they're not ready to handle the truth about Pleiadians and autism.
Speaking of which,
yes. So eventually I found a PDF of this book, but you know what you think a PDF of a book usually is? This is not that. Someone has taken a picture on their phone of every page in the book and compiled all of those pictures into a PDF.
Okay, sounds rubbish.
Yeah, if anyone wants to see this, I'll just put the link in the Twitch chat. And then you can also read the book yourselves and make up your own mind as to whether this information is right for you. Okay. I need to find my big list of screenshots of this book. Okay, yeah, so the distinction here is this book describes the Pleiadian autistic children, a group within the broader category of anyone who is currently diagnosed as being on the autistic spectrum. Any use of the terms autistics, autism, or autistic children made throughout this book refers to the Pleiadian autistic children.
And Pleiadian autistic children are from Pleiades, they're aliens?
Yes.
Okay.
So
at no point are we talking...
Not everyone who is diagnosed on the autism spectrum in one way or another is necessarily a Pleiadian autistic child. The information brought forth in this book will direct you in discerning who is a Pleiadian autistic child. This distinction is made through a sensitive and in-depth observation of the quality of the relationships existing in the life of the person being diagnosed.
Okay.
And then, a little bit after that, the author of the book says, beyond the fact that I myself have always been a little autistic, Later on, there
a
was an
little
explanation
autistic.
of the differences between people with autistic elements and the Pleiadian autistics. I have no scientific knowledge, training, or experience in working with autistics. I never thought I would write a book about this topic, but for some reason this information came to me as it is. In fact, as a result of writing this book, my autistic capabilities have developed.
Oh, excuse me? This bit's interesting.
I don't know, their autistic capabilities have developed while writing a book.
Have you read the book?
I sort of skim read some of it. I haven't fully sat down and read it cover to cover.
And but how much... Okay, but how much are you aware of the contents of the book? Like,
I'd say
something about autistic capabilities, are you able to say what is meant by that?
Yes. Let me find the... Oh, yes. Some of the children that you, the humans, call autistic are in fact Pleiadians who have come to Earth of their own free will for the purpose of helping the planet in its transition to its next stage of evolution. The Pleiadians are connected to Earth through bonds of deep love and commitment, and those of us who come to live among you as autistics do so voluntarily as a service from our heart, which loves you. During our journey on Earth, we are absolutely human, but not regular humans. The main difference between Pleiadian autistics and regular humans is the level of our soul's development.
Wow! Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think the main
all...
difference between human autistics and Pleiadian autistics is that Pleiadians
are better.
Pretty much, yeah. That is basically what it's saying. In fact, autistics have no need for self-study, as their self is intrinsically clear to them. An autistic will never be disconnected from himself, as often happens to most humans.
What's the phenomenon? Disconnected from yourself? Do you know what that means?
I'm not even sure. But the relationship with the self is different for autistics compared to regular people, in that it does not exist on the verbal or the emotional planes. It is a direct experience.
Okay. Do you know more background on the author?
The author, I think they got this information from... Okay, so basically, I don't know if it's every human, but a lot of humans have sort of a twin, like a Pleiadian twin, who sometimes they connect with, and that is the Pleiadian twin of this author has contacted them and given them this information on the connection between Pleiadians and autism. So they're getting this from someone who is related to them, but from space.
I see now. And now it is clear. Thank you very much.
Yeah, everything makes sense now. I'm just looking through. Oh, yeah.
And with what you do
About
know of the distinction between terrestrial and Pleiadian autistics, how would you rank yourself? Do you think you're an alien, or do you think you're terrestrial?
I am definitely terrestrial, because I would not choose to come and live on this earth and have my only relationships with other humans be to further their spiritual journey. I'm just here to go on the swings, which I think is a very earthly pursuit.
Pleiadians don't have swings. No swings in Pleiades.
I don't know. There might be. I don't think it's mentioned in the book, or at least not the bits that I've read.
Yeah, that level of detail would really swell the total page numbers.
Oh, yeah, about the Pleiadian autistics and gender. Some of them inhabit physical bodies, while those who so choose live in etheric bodies, so I guess you're just sort of floating about. Some embody a dominant masculine essence, while others have a dominant feminine essence, but they all carry gentle frequencies that are full of compassion. So these aliens still do adhere pretty much to the gender binary.
Yeah, wait, hang on. Did I hear that the women are ethereal though. Is that still?
No, those who so choose can be ethereal.
Oh,
But if you
okay.
want to, you can.
If you're ethereal, do you have a gender?
I'm not sure. It doesn't say.
It's probably if you're ethereal, you can have a gender if you like, but there's really no point. Really.
No, I think if you're
what's the
ethereal,
point?
you still have to embody either a dominant masculine essence or a dominant feminine essence. So you've got to lean one way or the other.
Typical.
But they do all carry gentle frequencies that are full of compassion, and really, that's all you need. Yes. Pleiadian autistics who receive proper support and guidance from their parents can indeed conduct earthly relationships and learn how to fit into society at different levels of ability. However, their relationships will always be practical and concrete and will be of a functional and to some extent technical nature. These relationships are intended solely for the purpose of helping autistics fit in and conduct their lives in a way that enables them to fulfill their purpose. Please bear in mind, even if the relationships of autistics carry a certain emotional element, they are not, the not is in bold there, for the purpose of learning soul lessons, but for the purpose of acquiring life skills.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
The autistics are here to help us, like, expand our practical knowledge.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
They're not here for soul lessons.
For emotional reasons.
Don't be friends with them. You'll distract them from their primary function.
Acquiring life skills.
Engineering.
Oh, yeah, apparently. There is a whole chapter that I haven't fully read, but saw in the chapter listing. Chapter 11, the crop circle's connection to the Pleiadian autistics.
Wow.
And immediately went there. Apparently, crop circles have other valuable functions that could serve the autistics on their earthly journey, but these are not being utilized yet. So I guess we haven't turned on the crop circles yet.
Activate the crop circles.
Though, for autistics, physically spending time inside a crop circle or nearby could enhance the support they receive for their physical life on Earth and advance them in a groundbreaking way. Which, yeah, I think if I just sat in a crop circle for a bit, my life would really be improved. That I can agree with.
I think crop circles are relaxing.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can find anything else in this book. I'm going to open it up on... I'm going to scroll through these images on Google Drive. What would you like to know more about? I'll see if I can find some information for you.
How the book was received, the author's backstory and publishing history.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I mean, the first mini paragraph of the introduction. The heart of this book is my personal crystalline structure. It is an energetic structure. One might say that it's an energetic entity existing on a plane that is not physical but etheric, a plane that exists on certain levels of consciousness.
I guess one might say that, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say this is a book. I'd say this is a PDF.
It is a perfect crystalline structure. It transcends the material world. It has a perfect frequency that goes through your soul. Also, it's available on .pdf and EPUB.
Oh yeah. In 2007, Alexandrit came to my awareness. Her name appeared in my mind, and with it the knowledge that she was an entity from the Pleiades with whom I had a very profound connection. I sensed I was committed to her on a soul level, although I didn't know exactly who she was or what this commitment meant. I also didn't know much about the Pleiadians.
Well, at least there's a connection there on a soul level.
Yeah.
Which I'm taking is just, we got on.
Yeah, that's just having a positive feeling towards someone.
Clicked.
Because this was a mental connection, there were also many moments when I tended to forget her presence or doubt the truth of her existence, and I thought that I was making her up.
And is this person cited as a kind of a ghostwriter? If I was fed this kind of stuff by an entity,
in the actual. Oh yeah, they get a shout out in the acknowledgements, but
that's
not
good.
in the actual like book information part.
I'd 100% shout out my tulpa. My tulpa would be on the front cover, I think.
Oh, apparently this book was originally written in Hebrew. Which I feel like I now need to learn Hebrew so I can fully grasp the original intent of this book without all the nuances that would have been lost when translating this to English. Maybe that's how I find out how to activate the crop circles.
How many languages is it in? Or is it just those two?
I think just two.
Even it being more than one is a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, we can hear about the tulpa. Alexandrit is a Pleiadian light being. She is healer, scientist, and researcher who lives on a small star called Alamus, one of the hundreds of tiny stars scattered around the 7 central stars of the Pleiadian galaxy. She appears to me as a gentle creature, her physical form willowy and noble. Her skin is purple and similar in texture to the skin of the dolphin. Her large eyes look at me with a gaze that is soft and full of love. Her language is also similar to that of dolphins and is composed of tones and sounds. Her essence is female.
So again, we're back into like, I understand why this happens on like Star Trek, but why these Pleiadians? Why are they like humans so much? If we're back to the Randy Kramer issue.
Yeah.
These are aliens. Why are they like got male and female and have eyes, even eyes? Well, maybe I can see anything involving eyes, I suppose. Maybe I'm being too harsh on eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't say how many eyes, so it might be more than 2.
That's true. That could be a saving grace.
Yeah, that'd get them bonus points in my eyes. In my 2 eyes.
In my 2 eyes. We should always specify eye numbers from now on.
You don't want to offend any Pleiadians that are among us.
I absolutely want to flush the Pleiadians out. I just need to get this pot out of the ground.
We created and developed the autistic mechanism to enable our Pleiadian essence to arrive and settle on Earth in human bodies without losing our Pleiadian consciousness.
Well played, well played.
Oh yeah, I found the bit where it talks about the purpose of Pleiadian autistics on Earth. Unlike humans, we do not come to Earth for karmic purposes that serve the soul's path of development, for we have already gone through this process in our distant past and completed it eons ago. We do not come here to learn life lessons and to develop through human experiences and relationships, as you do. We have learned all that in the past, and the knowledge we accumulated is present and active in our memory. We come for the purpose of conducting interdimensional work to support your transition as individuals, and the transition of your planet as a collective, to the next stage of consciousness development, that of the 4th/5th dimension.
Does this person identify as an autistic of one flavour or another?
I think so, yes.
But at times they just said they had autistic tendencies. Because it feels weird, this weird like instrumentalization of people. They're here to like alter the universe. Don't be friends with them. They're not here to learn soul lessons.
Yeah. I feel like I would rather someone caring for autistic children read this book than a lot of other books about autistic children.
True.
Like, at least one's not written by autistic people. This one is a lot better and is basically just, yeah, be nice to them. Yeah, you will support these autistic children in a more appropriate and suitable way so they can realize their potentials. Eventually, humans will understand that autistics are the resource for new and groundbreaking knowledge.
Yeah, I guess when it's compared to like the default take being to
Yeah.
eugenics people out of existence, being like, you know, if you give them a computer, they can learn how to code, and then they'll make the internet run faster. People are like, oh,
If you
let's
give them a crop circle,
keep these guys around.
that's
Yeah,
it.
give them a crop cycle, they'll calm down.
Oh, autistics never experience a sense of guilt, self-condemnation, or self-judgment. Even if they experience a sense of distress or discomfort, they never turn these feelings against themselves.
They never turn negative feelings against themselves. That sounds
This
wonderful.
is when I realised I was just fully from Earth and not from the Pleiades. That was a real turning point for me in reading this book.
I'm gonna fight a ghost canoe.
A ghost canoe? Oh wow!
It's time for the ghost canoe. In fact, the ghost canoe is where you get the little pellets that the beast priest wants.
You gotta give him a snack so we'll make you into a furry.
Exactly, but I think he gives you beast mode miracles.
209.
This is my main character? No, this is a new character I'm just starting off, really. Very underleveled, very much doing stuff I'm not at the right level for. I want to get them... The rule is, this is a battle mage. They have to use the largest weapon I have access to at any given time. I'm trying to level up so I can use Leonin Misbegotten's huge sword, which I'm very keen on. It looks lush. Laboratory Astrology lad. They're still around, they're still kicking. They're in exactly the same spot as they were before. I've just got a hankering to have a different build. What colour is the dog boss ale? I know this dog boss. I love this dog boss. Well, no, I'm not going to tell you. No spoilers. Please continue. The floor is yours.
I have been instructed by Spangle to go to page 209, and I was not disappointed. Okay, here we go. After I completed writing the manuscript of this book, oh yeah, this is Appendix 1. I created the Pleiadian alignment model, as I had seen it in a vision about 2 years earlier. The Pleiadians gave me clear instructions on how to build it, explaining that a physical structure was needed to serve as a platform to energetically hold the crystalline structure. And there's a picture of this, and it does actually look incredibly fun. The model is made out of optic fibers that create a gentle effect of light flowing delicately above and around the treatment table. The model is spectacular in its beauty, and the light that flows through it changes, going through all the colours of the rainbow and creating a soft flow of movement. The optical fibers are flexible and completely safe, so those receiving the work can touch them, place them on their body, wrap themselves up, or cover themselves in the fibers. It's basically just some colour-changing fibre optic cables that you can sit under.
Sounds great.
Bird.exe, thank you for the citation. It was only after I actually saw the model that I had created, after it had been installed, that I understood how much it actually does carry the Pleiadian energy.
I'm probably gonna die here. I'm gonna leave. So what's the critical response to this book been? If there is one.
I don't know if I've actually looked into it. I can read you some Amazon reviews.
Amazon reviews will do me fine, yeah.
Okay, 8 global ratings. Overall a 4 out of 5. 76% of these are 5-star ratings. One of them, I'm assuming. Is that one of them? No. 24% are 1-star ratings. I'd love to see. Oh, there's no review for the 1-star rating. Someone just silently rated this book 1 star and then didn't elaborate. The only reviews, written reviews, are 5 stars. So people
the only
do
written
actually
reviews
quite
are
like
5
this book.
stars. But there are 1-star reviews, but they contain no accompanying text.
Yeah.
Understood.
Oh, there's testimonials at the end. Thank you.
Testimonials at the end of the book.
Apparently. Oh, there's clinical observations by a family therapist.
Okay. What does that say?
I found the book both fascinating and moving. It presents original thinking, and the approach it describes opens up new ways of understanding the autistic spectrum, ways which I had never considered before.
This is someone employed. Wait, what was their job?
A family therapist.
And they've had their mind opened up to the idea that autistic people are aliens.
Apparently so. Apparently they've used methods from this book to work with a non-verbal autistic child, and there is significant improvement in the way the patient understood and communicated with himself and his surroundings.
Right.
Which, I mean, if it works, then good. But I find it a really interesting
I don't know. I
method
feel like once
to like learn to understand your autistic child by reading this book.
I wouldn't trust someone who's read this book to even correctly measure if anything's worked.
Just skim reading it now. Yeah, this book does seem very focused on the parents, which I find strange because surely if you're an alien, you've already got all the knowledge and consciousness you need from your life extraterrestrially.
So
what is a good relationship with your parents going to do for you if you're just there to further their soul journeys into the 4th and 5th dimensions?
I don't even really understand how they have parents. Are they not aliens? So are the parents aliens?
I think it's the consciousness of a Pleiadian which is in the body of a human child.
What, fully puppet mastering a human child like a changeling? Well, where's the child's consciousness gone? Just overwritten by the Pleiadian. That's awful. That's fully changeling.
I don't think the child ever had a consciousness. I think like the baby immediately got born, or like when the baby was conceived and was growing. I don't know at what point a baby gains a consciousness, but when that happens, it would have just been like a pre-selected Pleiadian who was like, yeah, off to Earth to go help some people on their soul journey,
To jump
and then
into
they
this
end up in
husk.
that baby.
So some people give birth to children, some people give birth to autistic children, and some people give birth and their child's consciousness is immediately overwritten by an alien who they have to be kind to, even though it's sort of stolen their child's body.
You seem to think that there was a consciousness to overwrite in the first place,
With them
whereas I
given birth
think
to
that the baby is conceived, and before it gains its own consciousness, it is a Pleiadian somehow.
Well, at some point there has to be a hijacking, right? You're saying it happens early enough in that there's no point talking about the entity as a baby. That's fine. But they are still trying to conceive of a child, a human, if someone's trying to conceive of a human child and an alien goes, that body is mine now. And also, I will not make it known to you that I'm an alien. That's like cuckoo behavior. That's midwich cuckoo behavior.
You can't tell them that you're an alien because then they'll know and you won't be able to silently further their soul journeys.
Yeah, that's cuckoo behavior. We're talking about cuckoos. Midwich cuckoos. Do you know that film?
I don't know that film.
I think it was a Stephen King book adapted into one of the many 80s cinematic Stephen King adaptations. Yeah. The idea is that aliens just take over and use the body of the children of a whole town, and they're all weird and psychic, and the parents like slowly piece together what's happened. John Wyndham, I like John Wyndham. Do you know John Wyndham?
I don't know John Wyndham.
Day of the Triffids? The Chrysalids? Day of the
Triffids is just Little Shop of Horrors again, right?
No, come on. Little Shop of Horrors. The Little Shop of Horrors was originally like a B movie. I don't know if there was ever a book. And the original B movie was just a B movie horror about a plant that eats people, and then it got remade into an all singing, all dancing, campy horror. But Day of the Triffids is more of a like. Well, I guess in a lot of ways it's zombies, but they're plants. But it's like a 28 Days Later, a guy wakes up and now plants are the dominant life form.
Oh, okay.
After a green glowing meteorite sends everyone blind. So the reason plants take over is everyone's blind now.
If you're blind, you'll never know if plants are taking over.
But he's not blind because he was having like cataract surgery. So his eyes were like his eyes were like
busy.
Well, his eyes were bound up while he recovered. So the whatever the rays from the meteorite couldn't impact him.
Oh,
so
right,
when he takes his surgical stuff off, he's like, oh no, everyone else is blind more or less, and plants have taken over. And he was blinded by a Triffid. He used to work with Triffids. He was a Triffid farmer.
Did the flash happen during the surgery? Because if so, wouldn't the surgeons also go blind and not be able to finish giving this guy surgery?
The flash happened during his recovery, during the time when he was just during the like, wait for your eyes to heal.
Are we meant to think that this is the only guy who was in this position? Because surely there were other people who like.
Yeah, and you meet other people. You meet other people that were like, I was in the cellar, you know. Oh, you can see as well. Yeah, I was in the cellar, so I didn't see. But most people aren't in the cellar. Most people, I think it's so bright that even having your window open, curtains probably can't save you. I actually don't remember where it goes from there. It behaves narratively, I think, like a lot of zombie films might now, of like finding people, working out what to do, finding somewhere safe, and then you go, oh, the real dangers actually are the humans because law's broken down. Maybe it's not that good actually, but the chrysalids is a lot of fun. Chrysalids is fun, probably. I read it ages ago. I bet it's fun. Chrysalids is
In the initial
post-apocalyptic.
stages of you explaining Day of the Triffids, I had sort of zoned out and was still reading through this book, and I had to stop and laugh because I saw this sentence completely out of context. I don't know if there are currently any farmers hiring workers to raise the frequency of their crops. They don't mean like yield, they mean spiritual vibrations.
Right. The waves emitted by the crops.
Yeah.
What would be the benefit of a higher frequency crop?
Healthier, more nutritious, have healing qualities, apparently.
This is what I like about a lot of New Age thinking. Fundamentally, when you're like a New Age writer, you have to pick like one thing and say that's like fundamental. There has to be like this fundamental phenomenon, whether it's a substance like organoids or whether it's just energy or vibrations or something. You just pick one thing and you go, everything's that now. Everything can only be understood with reference to this one thing I've invented.
I have a lot of love for organoids. Wilhelm Reich's orgone accumulator, which was basically just a cupboard with some metal in it and a chair,
There's
which
literally...
he got like confiscated by the feds because they thought it was too dangerous an idea. It's one of my favourite things to think about.
Confiscated my orgone simulator. I'm going to kill a dragon, I think.
What are you going to get from that?
Its
Is
heart.
there a purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
I will harvest the dragon's heart. And I'll get loads of souls, which I should call runes. But
Are they
I
not
don't.
called souls anymore?
They're not called souls anymore. Have you not heard the terrible news coming out of the lands between? Back in my day, we could call them souls. Can't say that anymore.
I don't understand how the lore of this game series works. Like, is this
is
still
standalone.
Dark Souls?
No, it's not. So there's only been one thing where there's supposed to be some form of continuity, but even within that, the continuity is very minimal. Despite that, there have been new games made which borrow all the same mechanics and basically the same approach, but they have nothing to do with each other, no attempts at continuity, although they borrow a lot of the same themes and ideas, and it feels like a reskin. Imagine it like The Legend of Zelda.
Okay, yeah.
We got a new Link? Does this guy know the old Link? No, they're not even maybe in the same dimension. And it doesn't matter. Once you remember the golden rule of it doesn't matter.
Would you like to know
again.
the process behind making crop circles?
Yeah.
Crop circles are effortlessly created in a single moment. An interdimensional apparatus resembling a large stamp comes down to Earth, and much like, but also unlike, the way we apply pressure to molds to create imprints on materials such as paper or soft metals, this stamp creates the design it carries on the field in a single moment. This takes place in broad daylight, right before our eyes. But the human eye and human technology is incapable of perceiving this process, as it involves light bodies that carry extremely subtle frequencies which we cannot yet see and perceive. As mentioned, this type of capability has to do with technology that is activated through consciousness.
Okay. So what it comes down to is the way the crop circles are created is that the aliens apply pressure to the crops until they go flat.
Yes, but in a single moment and using an interdimensional apparatus resembling a large stamp,
Yeah, that's fine. I don't see an issue
which
with
we will
that.
never be able to see because human eye and human technology is incapable of perceiving this process.
Once we're in the fifth dimension, we'll see all the stamps. I think that's the most appealing part of ascending our universe to the fifth dimension,
Yeah, I want
is
to
we
see
get
the
to see the
stamps.
stamps. Hey, why are you meditating 12 hours a day? I just need to see one stamp before I die. My
Hanging out with
bucket list.
autistic people in order to boost my soul frequency and see the stamps quicker.
Yeah. Touristically hanging around all your autism conferences, asking them whenever you get anyone alone, ask them quietly.
Excuse me, what does the stamp look like? I want to know.
You're autistic, right? Yeah. Have you seen one? Come on. Come on, I'm on the level. Have you seen the stamp?
The Pleiadians say that the area of the crop circle also contains sounds and tones that the human ear cannot hear, but which autistics can. That's just having, like, extra sensitive ears.
Do you want to see loads of wolves fight a bear?
Yes. I don't know how the wolves think that this is going to go well for them. They're a lot smaller than the bear, which I wasn't expecting.
The bear will definitely win. The bear will 100% win.
Yeah.
I'm banking on the wolves acting as an adequate distraction to the bear.
Did you make the wolves, or were they just here?
These wolves live here.
Okay. Is this the game where you can summon things? I vaguely remember you mentioning that on one of the streams.
Yeah, I don't currently have a summon. Oh, and if I do, there'd be wolves. But if I need it, this is the place where there's already wolves. Although these wolves do attack me, but it's not ideal.
What's the silliest and most mundane animal you can summon in this game? Can you just summon a sheep?
You can summon like zombies who just sort of hang around and don't help at all. You can summon a jellyfish, maybe. That's maybe the most mundane.
Do you have to do that in the water?
No, the
Otherwise
jellyfish
they
can
die.
fly around like a Metroid.
Of course.
Nearly got the bear. I'm very confident the bear's going to get me. Oh no, I've managed to critical the bear in the head. The bear fell over and I managed to stab it straight in the skull.
Like the Pope.
Exactly.
You're the Pope, crushing the skull of the bear.
I don't want to spoil anything for any Elden Ring players, but there is a... I can't say. But I guess
we
the
predicted
fact
this.
there is something in the game. There's something in this game.
Parts of this book I do unfortunately quite like. Humanity will learn how to treat the assistance and the knowledge the autistics bring forth with respect and with gratitude. When humanity reaches this understanding, the status of autistics in our society will radically and absolutely change, and so will the treatment and support society and our governments provide to the families who have chosen to host these exceptional guests.
Will the when the Pleiadians are like done, do they leave or do they just stick around forever? Like, is there ever a point where all the autistics just go home? No more autistics.
I assume so, but that's going to take a while to when we all bypass the third dimension. Catbox, that is an incredibly good idea.
Mr. Ah! Oh, I want to go up there. Oh no, I can go up there. Thank you very much for this debrief on the book.
You're welcome. I hope that you've all opened your hearts and minds to accept this information. And I hope that some of you have discovered that you are Pleiadian autistics who are here to serve humans on their soul journeys. And I hope you all find a lovely crop circle to sit in.
We all aspire to see the stamp.
Judging by the but I'm sorry. It's
Catbox, you are of course welcome in to talk about how you invented garlic bread.
my destiny. It is my and what do you think?
They really push this pot guy and the pots in general to be like the game mascot. How do we feel about the pots? Are they nice? Or do they feel... well, nice, just neutral, I feel nothing about them. They make me feel scared, or I think they're shit. Those are maybe the 4 cardinal reactions. Catbox, welcome to the Night Hole. You are in the Elden Ring in stream.
Thank you, mate. Do the pots get to find out how we feel about them? Because that would change my answer.
The pots will never find out. Anything you say here is completely confidential.
You promise you won't mention it to the pots?
I won't mention it to the pots in this stream. You'll never feel the consequences of it.
Alright, okay. I can... Kank me? Kank me?
You're canked.
Okay. I'm kanked. No. I was saying that to myself. I was kanking myself a little bit. So I made a brazen claim in the Discord the other day, and I would like to clarify a little bit. I'd like to set the record straight, and explain how it was actually a deeply traumatic experience for me.
To invent garlic bread,
Yeah.
you were
I'm still
roundly
kinda-
mocked by Peter Kay.
And he went up the top of the tallest tower he could find to mock me, so I could hear it.
And
from
loads
far
of people
away.
followed him as well.
And then they made a VHS to add insult to injury. He made a VHS about it. Wasn't even a DVD.
I think it became a DVD, if that makes you feel any better.
It doesn't. It's even worse. Now it's a VHS and a DVD. Oh, you got deaded. Right. I was cooking salmon for my family, and you can get frozen salmon.
I was cooking salmon for my family.
Yeah, like all stories start. Once upon a time, I was cooking salmon for my family.
It's just, I don't know, I just love it as the opening sentence. It feels quite storybook, doesn't it? It feels like the beginning of a Narnia book.
Well, this is like a classic buildings roman, isn't it?
Right.
Young man has to leave his village, cook
gonna say-
salmon for family.
In this, I'm imagining you're wearing the clothes of an evacuee.
My rags, yes. What of them?
No, like just nice home knitwear, but a little worn. You know, haven't got the money in the coffers to buy an entire new garment, but we make do.
I did have to barter for this salmon with various farm animals. Farm animals that coincidentally are also beloved family members, which, that's a two-way thing, because I'm lowering the number of people I need to cook salmon for, and I'm also gaining salmon for trading them in.
Very smart, economical child. At what age are we talking here? I've decided you're 8, but that might not be true.
I'm 22.
All right, a way off. What
Emotionally,
8-year-old's
I'm
cooking salmon? What's wrong with me? You didn't let an 8-year-old cook salmon.
I think you could take a shot. It's a simple recipe, right? So you're getting a free recipe out of the story as well. So you can bake
I know
salmon
how to make
in foil.
garlic bread.
So you can bake salmon in foil, And one of the things that's nice to do is have like a bit of a sauce, have something so it doesn't like dry out. So what you do is you put butter, and then you put a bit of garlic on, and maybe put some like a drizzle of lemon juice on it. But what I found was because the salmon's frozen when you take it out, it's really tough to get butter onto it, right? So I was like, I could melt this butter. So I melted the butter, and then I was like, well, I've got to put this garlic on, so I'll mince this garlic. And I thought, well, I can do both at once. I can put the butter and the garlic together in a little ramekin and make like a little pot, a little cauldron of buttery garlic, and then I can put that on the salmon.
A cauldron?
I did that, oh yeah, or a vessel, or a
yeah,
cup.
sure.
You wouldn't stretch to a trough. I think that would spread it out too much.
Troughs are wide anyway.
Yeah. If you've got a very big family, if this is a pre-trade family, maybe you'd want a trough. But post-trade, are you kidding me? It's a waste of space.
Post-trade?
Post the family members I traded for the salmon in the first place.
I understand now, yeah. I'm forgetting the beats of the story.
It's a callback. You know, you see these rhyming, these structures inside of myths and stories that repeat themselves.
Yes, I now follow you. Now you put it like that.
there's always a child always has to cook a meal and has to engage in some sort of non-currency based exchange. So I smell this, right? I take this ramekin out of the microwave with the butter and the garlic, and I swear to God, Sean, it is the most delicious thing I've ever smelled in my life.
Wow.
And like beautiful. It's warm. There's notes of sweet, but it's savory. And I think, do you know what? This is the most delicious thing I've ever smelled. I'd happily put this on a sponge of some sort and just eat this. And I was
like
halfway.
Like a real sponge, like a cleaning sponge.
I was imagining something.
Suck on that. Like those ones that are like yellow is soft, and then there's a scouring bit that's green. You could put it on the yellow bit and then suck it off.
If I was desperate, yeah. But I thought maybe I could find something slightly more edible than a
right.
kitchen
You
sponge.
had
but
more options.
It's important that you understand that in my head I went to sponge first, and I was like, what's the spongiest foods? What do I know that's roughly sponge based, roughly spongy, and has a lot of holes to soak up garlicky butter? And I kid you not, I was halfway to the freezer to get some bread out, and I had to stop and just out loud say, "Oh, garlic bread." Because I thought I was going to make a fortune off of this. I thought I was going to be rich. Sure.
Right.
I was like, this smells so good. If you could just soak it in bread, you'll make a fortune.
Like a sponge, yeah.
And I had like 5 to 6 seconds, Sean, where I genuinely believed in my heart of hearts that I'd invented garlic bread. Imagine that. Imagine having a little bit of your life where you made something as profound, and you knew it was profound. In that moment, you knew this would change the world. And then it turns out it's just garlic bread.
It's just garlic bread.
It's been done.
Jambud has brought up the time that I invented rum and coke, which is almost beat for beat the story you've just told, really. I didn't really know about common things that were mixed, so I'd actually, unlike yours, I didn't really even know of rum and coke. I was just young and exploring what tastes go well together with alcohol, and I'm like, this rum goes really well with this coke. Has anyone tried this? This thing I've been doing.
Were you roughly 8 years old at this point?
8 years old, hanging out in the crop circle.
It's all my alien friends. So were you like recommending this to people? Like, hey, maybe you should try rum and coke.
I recommended it to Jambud, and Jambud said, "You have not invented this. This is not yours. This is perhaps one of the more common pairings."
I'm assuming Jambud knew about it. Yeah, Jambud already knew about it as well. So you're pitching this to someone who already knows about it.
I've got to
It's nice.
do. I'm defo gonna die in here. This guy summoned me as a cooperator, but I'm really underleveled for this boss. I'm hoping just to do this to get souls.
Who are these? Are they a cat?
Yes, they are stone cats. So this guy, so I've been summoned in to help, but they don't realise they've summoned in someone who's like way too weak to be here.
Oh, a waif. A fragile
klutz.
waif.
But even just being here and going through it a little bit will get me souls, perhaps. Maybe not. I'm trying to find ways to get loads of souls. I just can't. I just want to level this character up, really. What would be the cheekiest thing to do?
Is this the same character as we saw before?
When's before?
When
Before
you
today?
crashed out with a lot of bats. This was the last I
No,
saw.
that was
New guy just dropped.
that was Calpol Barocca. No, Barocca Calpol, and this is Minerva Thwomp.
What a name. Do we have any
Yeah.
lore for Minerva?
Well, when I was playing with Jack Evans and Chris Cantrell, they'd given their characters genuine like Dungeons and Dragons style
Right.
fantasy names and were fully like role playing who their characters were. And my guy was called Calpol Barocca. And I was like, this sucks. So I made Minerva Thwomp. And I also made a blood mage called Ahab Guernsey, who is a blood mariner, which is a new RPG class I've come up with.
Does he sail on a sea of blood, or is he a particularly bloody seaman?
It's just a hybrid of two skill sets. Good at blood manipulation and just good at sailing. Nothing wrong with that.
You feel like they could cross over a little bit, though.
Do you think so? Maybe she was sailing on blood, yeah, but
It's all liquid
chance would be a
connected,
fine
right?
thing.
Well, that's his heroic moment, right? I'm assuming it's a he, actually. Minerva
Yeah.
Thwomp, that's a
Minerva Thwomp is female, or at least a fab, for as far as I know.
well. That's her heroic moment. Is they're all on the boat and they're like, oh no, the blood tide has come. No one can survive it. And Minerva's like, well, actually, I've got a very specific skill set. I'm
Yeah,
really
you got a
pleased
boat.
you got a boat. I can handle this.
Yeah, if you don't have a boat, I'm not that useful.
Not that helpful. That's true of all mariners, though. I don't think they'd hold that against her.
100%. Although I always imagine that mariners get these kind of off-sea skills, like lugging an anchor around, or good at ropes, good at knowing exactly which way the wind's blowing, salt
I don't think
resistant.
anchor lugging is. Oh no, I guess that's just core strength, right?
Well, they
just a
could
great
use an
workout.
anchor as a main weapon, you know. That's sort of what I'm getting at.
All right, yeah, fair play. +1 to anchor wielding.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a novelty weapon, but you know, I'm sure it does a lot of poise damage. I'm sure it can do stagger.
Well, if someone's coming at you with an anchor, there's a real like sense that this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and this person means business. And if this person, you need to land a couple of hits with an anchor, and that's it, knockout.
You'll know about it.
You'll be informed.
You hit me with an anchor. I noticed that.
Yeah, you didn't need to tell me twice. When I've been hit by an anchor, I've got the memo, buddy.
Hang on, what was that? Just been hit by an anchor. I knew it. I can tell.
Not another anchor.
Every Thursday, another anchor. So, I need to stop going to quiz night.
Another Thursday,
Minerva-
another anchor. Good night, Killian.
Night, Killian. Another Minerva Thwomp's coming again, bragging about her blood skills. and she gets really argumentative.
To be clear, Minerva Thwomp is not the Blood Mage. Minerva Thwomp is a battle nun.
We've got a problem at my work where nuns keep stealing employees. I don't know what's happened, but the nuns are on a really big hiring tear, and they keep hiring sort of people from our
Do
organisation.
nuns hire? Do you get a wage for being a nun?
There's apparently admin to be done surrounding nuns.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense. Do you want to see something cool? Do you want to see a cool Elden Ring entity?
Yes.
Do you see this sort of building up here?
Is this building walking?
Yes.
Oh, is this a Baba Yaga situation?
I thought Baba Yaga was a crone that lives in a floating pot.
Oh, I thought she had a big house with chicken legs.
That might be true. I maybe only think of her as...
Big pot crone.
I've never seen these things before. Are they normally here?
Are they hostile to you?
Yes, but I'm on a horse. Or I'm on
A goat?
yeah, I don't know.
A Kirin? A magical goat?
A bicorn.
A bicorn?
Maybe. I don't think it is a bicorn. It's too much like a goat, right?
A cow? A gorse? It's definitely goaty.
Yeah.
A little goaty would not look out of place.
A goat with horse characteristics.
What is it that the main character rides on in Princess Mononoke? It seems like one of them.
I've not seen it in a while, but could be. Does it have horns?
It does. You better believe this thing's got horns. Got horns for days, mate.
I believe. Horns for days.
It's got horns for days. Bird.xe's done a very dad joke in the chat.
Yeah. I see it.
You'd get a big guffaw out of that. Is that the right person you get?
At the dad conference.
Yeah, dad conferences in town. Make sure don't touch the thermostat. Dad conferences in town.
The dads have all hired the big conference centre.
They just want peace and quiet, from ball and chain.
Don't go around town on Saturday. Dad conferences in. It's just town's going to be heaving. The roads will be flooded with gravy.
The dad's booked a coach. There's tons of them.
Now who's doing dad jokes? Well, of a different kind.
Yeah, there's an at and with question here, isn't there? Are we laughing at or are we laughing with?
I'm not laughing with dads. Never have.
Never?
Have I ever laughed with dads out of politeness?
Oh, sorry. You mean like the infinitive dads, collective dads?
Well,
I was imagining that at some point you will have laughed alongside a father.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I've been amused by a father multiple times. A father has made me laugh. Plenty. Fully plenty.
But you've never laughed with them. You've never laughed at the same thing at the same time as a father, you think?
No. I've never laughed at the same thing at the same time with two or more fathers. I've never been in a group, to take it further, I've never been in a group which was exclusively fathers, except for myself, and I was laughing.
there's not a lot of groups, I guess, that are exclusively fathers. Maybe Fathers for Justice. That's the only one I can think of.
And even then, a lot of them are barely fathers, right? Because they're not given custody of their children. They're like biological fathers. They want to be fathers.
That's a big point. That's the big point. It counts still.
Well, my point is, it doesn't really.
You're gonna get a Batman. You're gonna get a Batman.
I'm gonna get Batman.
Flat.
Wake up tomorrow, and there'll be Banana Man on the lamppost outside my house. Delete the VOD. No, make me laugh.
Jordan, there's a Spider-Man on top of your kitchen cupboards now. You cannot get into your Weetabix.
Where's my daughter? I don't know. That's something that matter for the courts. I'm not a part of that. I got no jurisdiction.
I'm just here. I can't help you with this. Do you know, I was sort of adjacent.
Adjacent to Fathers for Justice.
Well, Fathers for Justice used to climb up on the Tyne Bridge a lot, so it's like Tyne adjacent, if nothing else. They used to love. I think it's a very easy bridge to climb as well. To be fair,
I'm always in. I mean, I'm sure we covered this on the podcast. Actually, I forgot what the answer was. But like, did they win? Did they just stop doing it? Like,
I think they
when
raised
things
awareness.
just disappear. Well, we're aware of Fathers for Justice, but I don't remember anyone really talking about fatherhood custody battles. We just talk about
dressing up as a superhero.
Yeah, and we just talk about people
Bridge.
dressing up as superhero and going on public infrastructure and just bits of architecture. Like,
I guess,
a lot of awareness campaigns just raise awareness for the campaign. People sort of forget about the issue and get in the backdrop of the spectacle of the thing. I just think about the guy dressed as Spider-Man. It takes me a moment to remember why they were doing it.
I'll grant you the optics do somewhat take over the campaign. But what an optic.
What an optic. Absolutely.
See that bridge? Imagine if a superhero was on it. For a reason you don't fully understand. Because you can't quite read the banner as you're driving by. But I was thinking about can you remember
Oh, my host has died. Oh,
Oh,
no, just the other guy died.
that
No,
ruins
the
a party
host
usually.
really is dead now.
Oh, he got hammered.
We were so close to getting him and all.
Oh.
I bet
So,
Sean has laughed with two dads on a podcast. What are you talking about? Jambud, what are you talking about? How many podcasts do I go on?
How many of them have you laughed on?
I laugh on
That's
every
it.
podcast I go on. You
That's
have to.
it.
You can't
Oh,
go on a
that's okay.
podcast and just be like, yeah. Oh, me listening to dads. Have I listened to
Alongside.
dads? Have I listened to dads? I can't think of a podcast I listen to that's got dads on it. What podcast do I listen to?
Dadcast.
Do
Have
the
you listened-
people on
have you listened
Knowledge
to
Fight?
my brother and me?
No,
You've never watched? Listened to it?
no.
Oh. I was going to say that's like
Are they dads?
they're all dads now.
Not for me.
Did you listen
Sorry,
before they
that
were
doesn't
dads?
sound like it would interest me at all. Did I listen to it before they were dads? No.
Hmm.
And now I can't, you know.
All right, it stops you. I'm trying to think of the word the presupposes.
Well,
Pre-
I use it as a rule of thumb to know I'm not going to enjoy it.
Well, you're
If
not
you
going to
go
laugh. You can still listen, but you're not going to laugh and enjoy
Well,
it.
then
are
what's
you?
the point, you
If you know
know?
his dad.
I live to
You can
laugh.
listen. You love to laugh?
You said that with such a questioning tone.
Well, it just seems sensible.
I, Sean Morley, love to laugh. That's
Mhm.
you're approaching that with a quizzical note.
Well, you said you live to laugh.
I famously am always jonesing for a guffaw.
Let's go down the list here. You live,
Yeah.
you laugh,
Is this a list?
but do you love to laugh? Do you love?
Love to live to laugh.
Thank you, Spangle.
I love my laughing life.
I got sort of looping back around to the tangent I was trying to take us on. Sorry to jump us back, but I got genuinely like, I got genuinely a little upset about this. Can you remember the Raoul Moat case in the Northeast, where a guy basically went on a shooting spree?
And then Gaza turns up with a fishing rod and some fried chicken.
Exactly, right? And that's kind of like this is really funny, right? You know, like what a random thing to happen. But if you think about it, this guy had already killed one person, tried to kill someone else, effectively. And Paul Gascoigne's he's literally sticking his neck out, and he's saying, "I can talk this down." And not only that, but like the police kind of like had him at that point. You know, they had him surrounded. The only life he's trying to save is, you know, the life of a person that's like widely hated at the point. Like everyone's like, "Oh, this guy." And Paul Gascoigne's like, I'm gonna risk my life for a person I've never met and I don't know, who's got no one else in the world is trying to help him. And like it's kind of like eclipsed by how a random an occurrence and an event it is.
He could have been trying to save the police from getting PTSD.
Ah.
Oh, what? Gaza thought, oh, I know him, and then he turned up, and then he's like, no, I don't. But that's way funnier. Sorry, whatever story you're trying to tell is now eclipsed by the randomness of the event again. If that's true, it's just too funny.
He's a hero. It's like the most heroic thing.
He's not a hero if he thought he knew him.
He walked
in unarmed. It's not a hero to be like, I don't want the police to shoot my friend.
Whoa! He still shot someone. He still shot 2 people. If your mate had just shot 2 people and you're saying like, I think I can talk him down, you're still risking life and
No, you're not. My mate won't shoot me. If my mate shot 5 people, I think he's probably not going to shoot me because I'm his mate. If he shot 5 of our mutual friends, yeah, but people always shoot their. But look, if I had a mate and he shot 5 random people, I would go into that house. If he'd shot 5 of our mutual friends, I wouldn't go into that house. But I'm mostly confident my friend would never shoot me.
You've put together the pattern. You figured out his calling card, and you know you're not one.
Yeah, I know the MO. I always live my life to be outside of the MO of serial killers. By being a man. And in my own house.
That's a potent Venn diagram of protection there.
Yeah, by being a man that not many people really know.
House.
No one. I'm in my own house.
Well, isn't there the
safe?
Isn't there that whole thing where like they talk about like the average IQ of a serial killer being like really low because they've tested all the serial killers they caught?
I think they work it out. They go, being a serial killer is a really stupid thing to do, and that's an IQ test in itself.
There's a theory that do you know the story about the plane that they tested in World War II? Where
survivorship bias.
Yeah. So the only serial killers that get caught are the ones who are dumb enough to get caught.
Yeah. So people think, serial killers actually are really brazen and obvious, but that's because we only have good knowledge on the ones that were caught by usually police in America who traditionally don't investigate anything.
So what I'm saying is that, you know, your I'm a man in my house theory is only based upon what you know about serial killers. And if there is this sort of additional sort of level of serial killers we don't know about, there could be the bloke in the flat killer, you know?
Well, we did a whole Mando's ep on this called Is Jonathan Creek Propaganda?
Oh, God.
And the idea was like, if anyone wanted to actually do a murder, there are so many shows that give you a blueprint for how to do a murder in a way the police would literally never get, because there are loads of examples of like really, really blatant serial killers that the police force is too institutionally incompetent. Yeah. Well, there was one, and they're making a dramatization of it. There's a guy called the Grinder Killer, focused mainly on unaccompanied gay men who are obviously easy target, really. And he hid the bodies just across the road from him in a park, and he just kept doing it. And he'd put drugs in their pocket. So the police, who are, this is the UK police, this is London, this is the Met. The police who were like institutionally homophobic go, oh, it's just some gay drugs overdose thing. And so he just kept killing people. Any amount of investigation.
Didn't one of the families just say no and then put it together?
Yeah,
like
it's always that the family have to
work.
do their own investigation because the police won't.
Is that your boss? Is that your world boss? Oh no, he's okay.
No, the world boss did almost die though, which was a bit touch and go.
I love this guy's hammer. That's such a cool thing for him to just... His little
This is like the
knives are-
first proper hard boss in this, and he's so good. I love him.
I can tell you've dueled him a few times because you've got the parries down.
I haven't done a parry.
You did a really good parry earlier.
Against him?
Yeah, against him.
I think you might mean something else by parry.
Where you stun him and then you give him a proper stab.
Oh, yeah. He got his poise broken, but parries where you knock their weapon away.
You know what? You could have said nothing. I'd have been really impressed with you.
Oh, yeah. Jambud has just contributed a very important detail. At one point in the Stephen Port killings, the police were thinking he might be a suspect. But then with the next one, he put a note in their pocket saying, by the way, this has nothing to do with the guy who lives across the road. He's not involved in this case. And the police read that note on the victim and went, oh, okay, and then like crossed him off the list as a victim.
No.
Well, it said so. You know, why would the victim lie? You know.
What would he have to gain?
Exactly. Nothing to gain when you're dead. Suicide notes are always truthful. People are too sad to lie.
I'd love to lie today, but I'm just not feeling up to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry everyone. I really meant to do a lie. Just can't find the will.
Oh, do you know what? I'm actually just going to tell the truth today. I've got a bit of a hangover, and it's just a bit too much effort. Is it hard
Sorry,
to
guy.
lie?
Truths only today.
I'm doing a truth only run of life.
Yeah. No wall hacks, no lies.
That's all like living religiously is, right? It's just like a speedrun category of life.
It's a challenge run, yeah.
Challenge run, no sin. Because they had to patch out. They had a problem in like early medieval period where you'd get these priests who were like incredibly fervent, and they'd wear themselves down to the bone doing like as much charity, as much nice stuff as they can. And as soon as they felt like they like scored enough good, not sins, the opposite of sins, good acts, they'd just kill themselves, and they'd be like, right, I'm straight into heaven.
Yeah, I must be so unblemished now. Why wait 30 more years of trying not to do anything selfish? This is a really good strat.
Yeah,
this is fully speedrunning.
And so they had to patch it out by making suicide a sin.
Is that why suicide's a sin? Because priests were trying to game the system.
That's why suicide's a sin. Because otherwise, because a lot of like Christian literature is like incredibly fatalistic. Like all of Paul is written from the perspective that the world is going to end in like the next generation's lifetime. So that's why he's like, you should never ever have sex, because there's no point, and it feels like it's a little bit naughty to do, so it's probably a sin. It sees the world's ending, like why bother? It's like a lot of like the core moral hang-ups that Christianity developed are all based off of this one guy who's like, honestly, mate, it's not worth it. It's not worth getting
Don't
like
even
6
bother.
pint of milk. Yeah, just get 4
I
pint
have had sex at least a couple of times, and it felt a bit sad afterwards. I felt weird.
Honestly, not worth it. Honestly, just don't put the washing out. Honestly, it's world's ending.
Yeah. It's probably going to rain. If it doesn't, it'll be, Ragnarok soon. You probably would call it Ragnarok.
You think like all the other disciples were like trying to get him to do stuff, and he'd just be like, "Oh, you know what? The world's ending. It's no point."
But I thought the whole point was when the world's ending, that's when you go a bit, you go bonko, let's get stuff done.
Well, what stuff
Let's
are you
go.
gonna get done
I've never
if the
been to the
world's
Isle of
ending?
Wight. The world's going to end. Let's go. Fuck my job. Let's go to the Isle of Wight. Lads on tour.
That presupposes that you're going, you're not going to heaven, right? Or you're not going to get another run round. Whereas he was like, this is like end of the match. It's all been decided. He's just.
But they
doing
don't
fun
have Isle of
courses.
Wight in heaven.
How do you know?
Because heaven's meant to be good. Heaven's meant to be nice.
Why wouldn't it have good Isle of Wight then?
I don't want good Isle of Wight. I want the Isle of Wight. I don't want some reinterpreted Isle of Wight. I want the real Isle of Wight.
Or do you think like negativity is like a core part of Isle of Wight that you can't perceive, experience the Isle of Wight without some element?
Okay,
of
so
negativity?
imagine you go into the Isle of Wight and someone stops you, like the Men in Black stop you.
Yeah.
And they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, that Isle of Wight's closed, but look, we've got this kind of sanitized, bowdlerized Church of England Isle of Wight, where there are no swears and you can't buy beer." It's like, I just go home. I'd rather just go home.
But it's heaven, so it's great. Like whatever they're doing there, like it's
I
got to
don't
be
want
great.
that. I don't want that. Who wants that? Imagine having a nice time all the time.
It sounds great.
Come
Why would you choose to not
on,
have a
you're
nice
having me
time?
on here. You're having me on. What? Just a constant nice time?
Yeah, sounds lovely.
Are you for serious?
I'd like to. Do you know what? I'd like to try it. I'd
I
like
don't
to
think
try
you'd
it.
enjoy it. I don't think you'd enjoy it. I think.
But then I wouldn't be having a nice time by definition. It's sort of like a self-defeating proposition. If I ever get sick of how nice the time is, it's not a sufficiently nice time.
Okay, but I think in order to have a nice time, you need to have a bad time. So if you're saying it's based on the result and not the actual feeling at the time, like the nicest time you could possibly have involves tragedy. Otherwise, you'll succumb to nihilism.
Nicest possible time involves like an atom, like a granular amount of tragedy.
No. No, because a nice time
It's
is not
part of the wider
Okay.
tapestry of nice.
So when we're talking about a nice time, right, and you want to say, like, what's the atom of that? It's not like 1 second. No one ever goes, that 1 second was a nice time. A nice time is like a full event with a beginning, and a nice time is like a day trip. You
You've
can't have
had
a
a
nice
nice
time in like 5 minutes. You can't have a nice time in 10 minutes. A nice
But you
time takes hours.
It's not a slow cooker.
It
A nice
is.
time
It
isn't necessarily 10 hours. You can...
But a nice time's not 10 minutes. You can't have a nice time in 10 minutes.
Have you been on a nice walk in less than 10 minutes?
Pleasant.
Or have you reached your
Pleasant
destination in 5 minutes and then have circled round for another 5, saying,
You're
if I
changing it.
keep-
You're
if I
changing. We're
keep
not talking about
going-
a nice walk. We're talking about a nice time.
A nice walk can be a nice time. Why are you claiming that it can't?
Listen,
Why are you
if
claiming
I've
that these
just
are
had a
separate?
shit life, right? Let's just say I'm having an atrocious day. Let me just say I'm having an atrocious day, right? I've just
until
been
this
sacked.
point.
My wife's left me. I've got what's that thing you get if you sit on a plane for too long? I've got deep vein thrombosis. All of this I found out in the last hour, and then I go on a 10-minute walk. Am I having a nice time? No, right? Because my life's shit.
Up until this point.
You're never going to get a full U-turn in that amount of time.
A full life U-turn.
Exactly, in 10 minutes, no way. But in a day, yeah, you can have that. You can have that in a day. 100%.
Counterpoint, that day is made up of numerous 10-minute blocks. So it has to include a nice 10 minutes in there somewhere for it to comprise a day of nice. Like within the set of day, there is a series of smaller sets which are 10 minutes.
Yeah, but if you just have these like blankly pleasant 10-minute chunks and that's all there is, you'll succumb to nihilism. You have to have a tragedy. If I find out I've got deep vein thrombosis but the next day I win the lottery, I'll enjoy it more. I'd
like,
rather win the
yeah, these
lottery
veins look
after being told I got deep vein thrombosis. Because I'll enjoy it more and then I can just pay for some private surgery. I'll have a better experience of winning the lottery. I can pay for my veins to be fixed. And that would be better than if I'm just, you know, fine and then I win the lottery. What's the point? If I was just fine and win the lottery, I'd give it back.
So according to this, like, this ethical way of experience life, not ethical, emotional way of experiencing life.
A nuanced understanding of the human experience is how I describe what I'm saying.
Okay. I mean, it's not how I would describe it, but we can agree to disagree there. Why would you not, therefore, just mainline misery? Just mainline as much misery as possible, because surely by contrast, then that 10 minutes of beauty is like so much better. Is that a pot boy?
This is the secret village of the pot boys.
Oh my god.
This is a potential.
There's a little one.
Yeah, you got little ones. You've even got some violent ones. Some of them might turn violent.
Little jar boy and pot boy. And
so I found this yesterday, but I don't know what it's for. There's nothing particularly useful here. And I'm interested into like why you might come here. There's loads of secrets and quests and stuff, yeah. The little ones will hit you if you go too close. I know these ones are just nice. They're playing around this sunflower.
They look like they're having a nice time. Wouldn't you agree? Nothing horrible's happened to them.
Now they're having a nice time.
This is the one thing we didn't want to happen.
No, because they'll appreciate life better.
It's supposed to be bad then good, not good then bad.
No, they're gonna have good now. They're gonna have good now. When you've been hit by a sword, anything after that's good. Anything after that's great.
Okay, can we check back in on them then?
Well, I think they'll be angry, but let's have a look. One of them's gone.
Oh, that's him. That's the cracked pot. You cracked it. You just picked up his little pot body.
No, I think it's this guy. Yeah. He's all right.
You hit him right in the pot belly.
Look, there we are. Now we're even. There we are. He's had two. There we are. We're friends.
So are they a little guy in a pot, or is the pot the guy?
The pot's the guy.
The pot's the guy. So the pot got arms?
If you break the pot, sometimes raw meat comes out. So I think the pot's the guy.
Oh. Are they like homunculi?
They're just pots.
Pots? Ooh, ghost. This game looks very, very good.
I love this game. This is just rocketed to just one of my favourite games of ever. It is so huge and it's so full of little secrets and it's so full of things that make you go, huh? What? And that's what I love. Shall I show you a little thing that makes you go, huh? Shall I show you some of the things that I like? Let's see. What can I show you? Here, I'm going to show you a nice area that I think is cool. Show you some cool things.
And this was all written by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Mm-hmm. In conjunction with Beatrix Potter. Oh, I know a very cool bit. I'll show you an area that I just think looks nice. If we're looking...
Nice area. Mm-hmm.
We're going to go on a little aesthetics run, maybe.
Okay.
I really wanted to level up, but I just
Misty
don't have the
Storm.
patience.
Well, you can thwack things on the way going through, you know.
To get levels in this game, you need to do
Oh,
something
yeah.
a bit more significant than just hitting things on your way, unfortunately.
Do
It's
you
not
actually
fair.
have to? Do you have to grind? Because, like
Nah.
previous Dark Souls, you kind of they had like you didn't really have to go back. You didn't really have to grind. Like that kind of cheapened the game. Does this kind of require you to?
You don't have to grind. The reason I feel underleveled is because I haven't upgraded my weapon. So, like in Dark Souls, you'll feel. Oh, we're in
You
lobster territory.
Oh, rock lobster.
I am actually really underleveled. So I'm putting everything into strength so I can hold this massive sword. But as a result, my like amount of health is really low and stupidly low.
Yeah, you're almost getting one shot by these lobsters.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, it's that village that got flooded in the reservoir.
Exactly. I love this. It's meant to be like a medieval university town that just flooded and fell apart. And you can just wander the ruins, and I like it.
Well, that's pretty magic. Were they doing like some creepy? Were they doing some creepy magic science? They always tend to do creepy magic science.
Yes, there is another area that is more dedicated to the idea of they were doing very, very bad magic and now the whole place is corrupted. This is more like it's still going. Like I think the actual academy is just built up there. Do you see like a very faint outline of a sort of little city? That's where the academy is now. So they just magicked it higher up.
And now, can you show me somewhere horrible? Now, can you show me the worst place?
Yeah, I can.
Otherwise,
actually.
I won't be able to process how nice this is.
Well,
without,
I'm sort of heading somewhere else, which I
This is
think somewhere over here, roughly. And I don't want to lose my position. I have to start this journey again. I will show you somewhere horrible soon. Don't worry, there are poison swamps. There are.
Yes.
There's actually some poison swamps coming off of this place, but the worst poison swamp I'm saving for it in a few moments.
I got really, really frustrated by the end of the Pokemon game. Like,
Arceus.
I really wanted to play it all on stream, and it was just too tedious to do.
I
there
knew
was, like-
not to get it. I just Pokemon is. I just don't think Pokemon fundamentally is well designed. So even when they make a new one, it can be like a lot better. But I think Pokemon's got such a nostalgia. It can't be changed enough to fix the design problems because people are like, this isn't Pokemon.
They need a new one. They need Pokemon.
But they're just releasing a new one, right? They just announced there's going to be another mainline entry into Pokemon. Did you see this?
But it's there's Scarlet and Violet. I mean, look, there's a little cat that's made out of leaves and a little crocodile and
Yeah, and they know that's what goes front and center to get the sales. And I'm not like being overly critical. Pokemon's a lot of fun. I love little animals.
I
don't
saw them
know.
and I thought I love these creatures and I want to protect them and nourish them. I'm willing to possibly pay RRP for that. I guess I have to because it's a Nintendo game.
Exactly. You never get another choice.
Um,
Oh no, there's where I want to be. That's where I'm headed.
Arceus I found was really frustrating because the new catching mechanics are so good, and they never really give you that moment where you've just got a playground to like really use them. They're just not quite deep enough, maybe. Like they've really hit on something. This is what really annoyed me about it. They really hit on something really good that I really enjoyed. Ooh, this looks scary.
You're never in that much trouble when you're out and about and have the horse, which I appreciate, especially when I'm wandering into places I'm not really supposed to be at this level.
I guess this was Jade's problem with Dark Souls was like sometimes you'd get to a point in Dark Souls where you just have to run the same corridor, and you end up like what was that Tom Cruise movie where he kept rewinding time, where he just knew the day off by heart, Oh, I guess it's Groundhog Day as well. That also has the same mechanic.
I don't know this
Like-
Tom Cruise movie. Which is the
There's
Tom
a-
Cruise Groundhog Day?
There's a movie where Tom Cruise fights aliens and he keeps getting rewound. Edge of Tomorrow. Thank you, full time.
All right.
Edge of Tomorrow, and he just relives the same day again and again and again, and he just tries to like, I guess any percentage to like a success state.
In the chat, can people start putting either the number 1, the number 2, or the number 3, and that will decide a choice I need to make shortly. There is not really. You can wait, and you might get more information, but it will only be a cryptic sentence.
Actually, hang on, it won't let me make a poll. Oh,
Well, let you make a poll. Why not?
I don't know. I wanted to the other night and it wouldn't let me.
Oh, that's not good.
Ooh.
So up at the top of this, there are 3 belfries, and then you get 1 key, and that key will unlock. Oh, actually, I thought they were in a very clear order you could think of as 1, 2, and 3, but actually these 2 are equidistant to the top, so maybe 1, 2, and 3 doesn't work so well.
And is this another one?
This is where you get the key. I just need to get rid of those beacons because I think they're an eyesore when you don't need them. I used one of them and it sent me somewhere really mad. And this was with my character that's a much higher level. And where it sent me was so high level. There were some enemies there and I just could not make a dint in them. So we'll look at what we can read about this. There's the precipice of anticipation.
Okay. Should we say that's 1?
There's the crumbling lands.
Okay, that's 2. And then who's that?
I have
Who's that
missed
guy
one.
with flying swords?
That is a sorcerer giant, and they're best left well enough alone.
Bad mood.
Or there's the night sky unceasing. So what would people like? The precipice of anticipation, the night sky unceasing, or the crumbling lands? I know only where one of these portals go.
Night Sky Unceasing sounds gorgeous.
That's 2 votes in for night sky unceasing. Night Sky
The name
Unceasing.
alone.
It sounds like it's going to kill me. So I previously went to the Crumbling Lands, and it was magnificent. I don't know what this is.
It's just going to be black. It's just going to be nothing.
Avoid. 4 kings.
Big night. Just an unceasing night sky.
Oh, I roughly know where this is.
It's a big cave.
We are underground, so the map, as well as being, you haven't even seen, like, I don't think this is about a third of the map that I know of in here. I've seen it extend in a lot of directions in my other playthrough. There's also the underground and the overground. This is somewhere underground. Also, underground is much bigger than I thought it would be. I want to go up there. I want that.
Ooh, Acropolis. Big Acropolis at the topless.
But I don't see a clear route to it. I'm imagining that this place is going to be real deadly to me, but we'll have an explore.
I do love that sense of like you entering a space and it just opening up. I think that's magic. That like, I'm in a little place and then warmth.
Because it's open world, there is a little bit more of that, like, the open world bit just doesn't and can't feel as good as like classic, very good Souls level design. But the moment you're away from that into anything a bit more constructed, it is right back to being 10 out of 10. Okay, that person there, friend or foe, what do you reckon?
Friend. Looks lovely. Just having a nice time.
Almost certainly going to be a foe. I think defo foe.
That's the stance of a friend. That's the stance of a friendly person who's looking to make a connection, maybe. Just a chat. Oh, no.
Ooh.
A mottled necklace.
Ooh. That's a good talisman.
A vividly coloured accoutrement, precious to the ancestral. Oh, it's gone.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it kind of it gave you a little bit of poison on everything.
It raises immunity, robustness, and focus. Said to be a budding horn, the ancestral followers believe that the horns of a long-lived beast continue to bud like antlers over and over again until the beast one day becomes an ancestral spirit.
Okay, make a note of that in your lore diary. We'll be coming back to that.
I think when you can target like that, that's... Oh, I know. I know this kind of a guy. How much damage do I do?
Parry.
Barely any. That's a parry.
That's a parry, baby. Oh, this guy's going to be tough.
Just based on how much damage I've done on one parry.
You've got to cheese him off the edge.
Cheesing things, so that kind of stuff is really hard in this game. They've really thought like
Oh.
one shot.
Yeah, do you
At
think after
full
Dragon Rider in Dark Souls 2, they were like, okay, we need to look at this.
Oh, I never played enough Dark Souls 2 to see the glitchy exploits.
One of the first bosses, who's in the little arena when you get to the towers in the water zone. When you go like right from Majula, that first boss has like 3 layers of floor that you can progressively open up to make like the fight easier.
Oh, yeah.
People found a really, really clean setup if you didn't put any of the floors up to just like immediately let him attack you, immediately parry, immediately kick him into the sea. Which, as we all know, is immediate death.
You've asked to see the horrible place. Here is the most horrible location I've come across so far.
This looks nice. This looks nice to me. Lovely birds. Lovely tree. Pretty sky.
Yeah?
Thank you, Jambud. Yeah, I love this place actually. I like it better than the other one.
You've also got these very big-headed dogs.
I'm not sure I like that. I don't think I like that.
It likes you.
I'd like a dog to have as small a head as possible.
There's also... It gets worse. So the more you like... This continent or region or whatever is called Caelid. And you can cross over from Caelid into a place called the... Well, I'll just show you.
So this is like the Izalith bit. This is the...
Yeah, it's very Izalith. It is quite explicitly... There was sorceries going on. It all went bad. And now it's corrupted.
Oh, you hate when a sorcery corrupts your neighborhood. And then the council won't do anything about it.
Council never intervenes on sorceries. The council literally just refuse to acknowledge heresy.
And why do we pay our rates, if the council's not going to do something about all these sorcerers hanging around in bus stops, scrawling their runes with graffiti paint?
What's the council tax even for?
And you have to worry, where are their masters? Where are their mages? Where are the Grand Hierophants that look over them? Why aren't they looking after these sorcerers, making sure they're not getting into trouble?
And why are they not on the council,
The mages and the Hierophants.
Yeah, they should be part of the local council. They should be door knocking with the rest of them. Why is that not an elected position? The great sage.
They keep to themselves, Not that I've got any problem with it. Not that I've got any problem to it, but the mages, they keep themselves, they don't join in with the community, and that makes me uncomfortable.
I'm going to put myself into the summoning pool for this place. But, like,
Oh,
if anyone
nice.
summons me, I'll just die. I'm just such a pointless... But if they kill anything, I should get the souls from it. So it would be really beneficial to me. But awful for them to summon me.
At the very least, you're a decoy, though, right? You're like a... I guess they want, like... They want XX
This is-
Mage Slayer XX.
Look at
With, like,
this guy.
Oh no, there's been a murder. Oh no, he's alive. Oh no, there has been a murder.
Has there been a
But he's-
murder?
Yeah, these guys are dead. There's little dragons that are dead.
They're just sleeping, look. See?
Oh.
Now I'm in trouble.
I can't listen to the game because I'd hear you
Oh no, they
twice.
weren't making any noise. They're just...
Were they not going honk? Me.
No.
Honk.
No
Me,
such
me.
snoring.
Were they going zzz, snus, snus, zzz, like that?
No audible snore noises. How would you want them to snore though?
Either of those two. Honk me, or zzz, zzz, snus, 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 snus.
So you know, like honk shoo style snoring.
Yeah, hate that.
That's real. That has a basis in reality.
Makes me
but-
think about clowns.
Honk me. That's made up for like Hanna-Barbera, right? That's fake.
You can't prove that.
That's fake though, isn't it?
You can't prove that.
Have you ever seen it in the wild?
No,
It's BS.
I'm not listening to people sleep. You know what people do when they're sleeping.
You've
not my
never
business.
you've never slept in a co-op environment.
I'm just saying that my sample size is small.
But why is it so small?
It's rude. It's rude to listen to people when they're sleeping.
Where's this? I've never heard this before. Where's this come from? Is this new?
It's new, yeah, new law.
Not rude to
Came
listen
in.
to people sleep.
It's considered impolite.
No, it's not. Where has this come from? When has it become impolite to listen to people sleep?
Always been the case.
Listen,
Always
when
been the case.
people are sleeping, just quietly listening out to make sure they're sleeping okay. Check they're sleeping soundly. That is one of the politest things you can do.
If they've got a history of apnea, maybe, just maybe, I'll walk along this road with you.
People can develop
But you
apnea at any point. People can be developing apnea right now. You could develop apnea tonight. Who knows? Who knows if any of us are going to wake up? You know, the last thing you can do is just check in. You sleep? They're sleeping okay?
They've got gene readers now. They can read out your genome. They can tell whether you can get sleep apnea or not. And they
Can you
also
get sleep
tell-
apnea?
They're trying to figure out whether you'll go honk shoe or honk me.
Honk me is a
tell
myth. Honk me is absolute bullshit.
It's not a
I'm
myth.
calling it. Honk me
It's just right.
is a myth.
It's a recessive gene. So
It's a protected status. It's a minority group. Honk me is made up. Honk me is a conspiracy.
I'm a truther. I'm a honk me truther, Sean.
Sean,
Sure
if
as
I
I
put a
am that the
video on
world
sleep
is
on the
flat.
Discord, you wouldn't like it. Jambud, provide an onomatopoeia of how I snore. That's all I ask. And I don't ask for much.
It's gonna be honk me.
It's not going to be honk me.
You're gonna be a me this whole time, and you don't
I'm not
know.
me because no one's me. No one's me. The idea of being a me denier and then I'm a me would absolutely destroy my heart.
The one thing you can never know is what sleep onomatopoeia you make for real.
No, you
always have to
can.
trust someone else.
No, you just need
Always.
No, you just need one camcorder. You just need one camcorder, or even just a one MP3 player.
You can't trust that someone hasn't come in while you're asleep and edited the footage.
I think that'll be quite powerful levels of paranoia. You're right.
But
You can never know.
Can't...
It's all honk. Sean
all
only
honk.
makes breath in noise, not out breath. It's all honk. That's fine. That's fine. Because what's not happening in that account is the me. The me is my issue. I might be a honker. I've never denied the honk. Please don't get me wrong here. The honk is real. The honk is common. The honk's
Sure,
probably
Morley,
the only inhale there is.
allegations have developed over the last few hours that you are indeed a honk me.
I know, I'm just
What's
a
your
honk.
statement to this?
I have spoken with the same witness that you're referring to,
This is
and
the
the me is unsubstantiated. I'm a honk, and that is
this-
perfectly in line with my claims.
This is the story we've been getting, the pre-prepared story we've been getting from your press office all day. And frankly, the public... No, me. Alright, the press office has confirmed it. This was my big scoop. And now... I'm ruined. I'm a journalistic laughingstock.
Well, I'm glad you tried to take me down for no good reason. Based on nothing. Firstly, based on nothing factual. Like, you've got no factual basis for your claim. And secondly, based on nothing interpersonally. I've done nothing to you. Why do you want to destroy me like this?
They didn't tell me. They didn't tell me at journalism school that I couldn't just make it up.
That will get you.
They just tell me. They just told me that the writing has to be good. They just told me that the writing has to be good, and I need to use complex sentences and an adjective in every sentence. And they didn't tell me that I couldn't make it up. I try my best.
One of the rules of journalism, Stool, is that you're not allowed to use, like, the same proper noun twice in 2 consecutive sentences. So you'd have to be like, Ringo said he doesn't like fruit pastels. That's right. In a recent report, the drummer from the Beatles claimed not to like the gummy sweets developed by Roundtrees. I hate that. That's like, I hate that little trope of writing. Just say fruit pastels and Ringo Starr again in the next sentence.
Could you go back to Ringo after a Beatles drummer?
You'd need one of those line breaks, you know? You need calm down, Dave Gorman. What's happening here? Am I doing a Dave Gorman routine?
No, that's too specific. No one.
I don't know. Isn't
if
Dave Gorman's whole
got
thing is unnecessary specificity?
If
Isn't
Dave
that
Gorman's got
his thing?
a 15-minute bit on Ringo not liking a certain type of sweet, that's parallel invention.
Gorman has done this bit multiple times.
What? About Ringo?
No, about the idea that you can't use proper nouns twice in consecutive sentences.
Oh, okay.
That would be a coincidence, though.
Yeah, I'd say you're off the hook for that.
What's the bit? Hang on. What's the bit? Is it on YouTube? I thought that could be my bit, you know? Well, that could be my... He made a game on his Dave show. The problem is, if you want me to not plagiarise stuff people have done, you can't hide it away on stuff like Dave. You should be saying it on your late night Twitch streams where everyone can see it.
Now, to tie this back to my opening story, if we're okay with parallel invention of Dave Gorman's newspaper noun bit, does that mean I can legitimately claim I invented garlic bread?
No, but you did invent garlic bread. I never doubted that.
I did. Do you know what? I did.
Like, Christopher Columbus did discover America. He didn't discover it first. He didn't even discover it second or third or anything like that. But he went there and he was like, what's this? And it was America. Found it. It's not, like, interesting or, you know, significant, but he did discover it, I suppose.
I'm gonna put that on my CV. Update my CV. Invented garlic bread. That's top line. Everything else is a footnote.
Well, the problem is, right, the moment you won't be inventing garlic bread is the moment it could be proved that the existence of garlic bread influenced your decision making. So that you thought to put garlic on bread because you already knew about garlic bread. Because then you're just copying garlic bread.
I'm in the clear because I tabula rasa every single morning. Every morning I have to learn everything from scratch. You know, in 50 First Dates...
Did you call it tabula rasa?
Yeah, what are you supposed to call it?
Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Well, I might not have learnt the right pronunciation today.
Right, because you're tabula rasa.
Yeah, so like another day I might come in and say tabula rasa, and that would be, you know...
Tabula
rasa.
Is that how you say it, Jambud? You do philosophy, so you'll know.
I think I'm
Latin?
I think I'm allowed to let my accent slip through a bit and say tabula. Tabula rasa. Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what happened last night on the telly? No, it's fully tabula rasa, mate.
Is it Latin, do you think? Can we get a lot more Geordie Latin?
Oh my god, that's going to be difficult. I've still got...
So Charble's written out how I say it. Tabula rasa.
That's tabula rasa.
No, look, the rat is tabula rasa. Yeah, Josie as well. Tabula rasa. That's me. That's how I say it. I'm vindicated. I'm smart again.
I also struggled. I'm getting a little triggered by this because I also really struggled to say Tubular Bells when I was a child, and that was one of my favourite records.
Yeah, you're a childhood Oldfield head.
I couldn't say. I liked the Plinky Plonks at the beginning. To be honest, they lost me about 5 minutes in. But the start of Tubular Bells I loved. I couldn't say monument. I couldn't say monument. I couldn't say human being. I would say human being. And I couldn't say Tubular Bells.
Good night, Phil.
Night, Phil. Rasa. Rarsa. Tabula rasa.
You know, I shouldn't go too late tonight because I feel like if I don't... Let me get my thoughts in order. I stream infrequently, and then when I do, they're like marathon length. And I might have more luck not going to bed too late.
Well, why don't you call it here then?
I feel like I've just... I brought Minerva out on this idea that we were building up this character, and I've done nothing. I've just wandered around in circles and achieved nothing.
Well, you showed me some really cool stuff here, though. Like, from my perspective, I've experienced like some really interesting parts of this game that I don't think I can run.
One day.
One of these days.
You're lucky in that Elden Ring will never not be culturally significant, so there's always a good time. Did you get any good drops? I didn't kill anything. I'm sure I picked stuff off the floor, but the stuff that you can easily get off the floor is...
We went to a beautiful space cave.
Deprived Greg.
Ooh.
Constantly blocking with a claymore. Oh god, is it just me? Is it just me and you?
I like Deprived Greg.
I think Deprived Greg's got a kind of meme lord vibe that makes me think they actually will be very competent.
Yeah, he's gonna... If I was to put money on a fight between you and Deprived Greg, I'm really sorry.
Greg's got it. I'm under-leveled. Skill doesn't even come into it. Yes, 100%.
Greg's not doing that much damage. Oh no, the tree. Oh yeah, you'd like regret checking in on Deprived Greg.
Ow. I also can heal myself using my faith. But
but you can't use your Estus equivalent. Is that still the case?
no, I can. But if I only need to top myself up a little bit, it's a little bit more economical. So I've only got 3 Estuses when I'm a spirit, but I've got all my miracles.
So what's going on with this guy?
He's been grafted. So in this castle, they're trying to achieve godhood by just sort of grafting people onto other people. They make this thing called the big spider, and they just graft a lot of the townspeople into this sort of many-limbed, many-headed spider, and then sort of peer pressure people into getting spidered. He's dead. Absolutely effed it. This is why I can't.
Do you think peer pressure's enough to get someone in a big spider?
Yeah.
I think if I saw all the other people in the spider having fun, I'd want to jump in on the spider.
I think, you'd never be lonely if you're in the spider. I think people hate being lonely. That's one of my theories.
What if you're on the end of a leg?
What? Like my head's on the end of a leg, my face is being pushed into the floor. I think, oh god, why couldn't I be like up top, looking at the sky or something?
The spot on the spider that's the equivalent. Have you ever gotten like on a bus with all your friends and they've got like a 4-seat together, but there's like 5 of you in the group, so you have to sit
just on your own.
The other side. Yeah, on the other side of the 4-seat. Like that equivalent position on a giant spider made of limbs.
No, but because everyone's in the spider, you can never be on your own little seat, right? You are the bus. That's what's so good about it. You're the bus. So are your friends.
But it makes a spider. There's areas of a spider that are further away from the rest of the spider, so presumably, like you're not facing the right way. You can't see anyone.
It doesn't matter if you can't see everyone. You know they're there.
Everyone in the thorax is like having a laugh. They're having thorax jokes with each other, and there you are at the end of a mandible, Johnny Lonesome.
Because I'm like away from the core of the spider. I'm just considered a Billy No Mates.
You've just got. I mean, I don't think that they're actively trying to exclude you, but just like your experience.
Someone's got to be at the end of the leg. Yeah.
Yeah, and that will drive you apart. They'll be like, "Hey, do you remember the? Oh, sorry, you're at the end of the leg." Do you
remember when we and the rest of the core were? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. You're by the ass.
Hey, do you remember deprived Greg's birthday? Sorry. Because you're physically attached to another part of this massive creature, you couldn't make it to deprived Greg's birthday.
Because no one can make it anywhere because we can't roam around.
Although ironically, at the end of the leg, you could kind of pop into other parts of the body.
Like if my toes were having a birthday, my shoulder couldn't go. And that's just hard luck.
Unless you're very flexible.
Can you You can bring your shoulders onto your toes.
Yeah, surely.
You'd need to be a contortionist. I think very flexible doesn't cover it, but yoga won't get you there.
I think enough yoga works.
Enough? No, you'd need to become a contortionist.
Right. I'm trying to do it right now, and I swear to God, I've only got like a foot distance.
How are you doing
I
it?
think
Describe.
Do you know yoga poses?
Some of them. You might just, but not everyone will. So you should describe just using limbs and adjectives.
Right foot in right hand.
Okay. Yeah, we're using twister language here.
Lifting that right foot towards the left knee. I'm sitting down so I can lean my shoulder really close.
Oh, the leg's going up. Right, I see.
And the shoulder's coming down. It's a it's teamwork here. Spangle's done it. Spangle's got shoulder to toes.
How are people doing shoulder to toes?
S2T.
Okay, so maybe being on the I mean, I can't look right now, but
actually, I'm using my bad hip. I did it. I did it.
I'm getting people to touch their shoulders to their toes. I feel really powerful.
Shoulder to toes challenge.
Sure. Yeah, let's turn into a proper. Let's get this on TikTok.
What do you think it should be an aid of? No, I can't say that.
What were you going to say? Good night, bird.
I was just gonna say Ukraine.
Good night, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. This has been a great stream. I'll be back again on Friday. We'll be doing some more Disco Elysium. Thank you all for your company. Really do. That has to be the end. Please, a big C in the chat for Killian and C in the chat for Catbox for coming and sharing their thoughts, anecdotes, and lives with us. Yeah, I'll see you all Friday. If anyone is lurking, goodness knows if anyone lurks here, and what they must be thinking right now. I will see you all later. And that's it. Goodbye. Be well. Sleep nicely. Have pleasant thoughts. Be good. And goodbye.